Okay, hello everybody. Today I'm going to be reviewing Dunhill My Mixture 965. As you can see, it says it is a balanced smoking tobacco, fresh with a rich flavor. I would agree that it is balanced and has a rich flavor, but I'm not too sure what fresh means. I ordered a pound of this, and it was a really good deal from Pipes and Cigars because it came with a 3-pack of other Dunhill blends in the tins. So I got Elizabethan, Durbar, and another one. And so that was a really good deal. But I would have bought a pound of this in bulk even if it hadn't been for that deal. So here it is. It's shredded pretty. A lot of Dunhill blends are shredded like that. This is a really fantastic blend. The too long didn't read version of this is that I would put it right in the middle of the pack as far as on rotation, having a blend that you can reach to for just reliability, knowing you're gonna have a good experience, a good smoke. It's not incredibly distinctive. It's not incredibly sweet. It's not incredibly smoky, but it does have enough interest to keep you coming back to it. It is rich. It does have enough depth. So yeah, it's a really, really reliable smoke. TobaccoReviews.com has this at a 3.1, which seems a little bit low for me. And in many ways, I wonder if that's a result of the original blend, people comparing it to the original blend and saying it's not as good as the original 965. I also understand that there is another tribute to that original blend called Sunjammer by Hearth and Home, and I would like to try that. I have not tried it, so I can't compare it to that or to the original blend that. So the first review on the site is actually pretty in depth, and I can't really compete with the amount of detail that they provide. I would agree with their assessment that it is full of flavor and it has a lot of nuances, hardwood, leather, some exotic spice. And towards the end of the bowl, it does leave my mouth tingling quite a bit, and I've noticed that if I smoke about 2 bowls, and that might be a big one like this in my Nording. If I smoke 2 bowls of this, then it's just a little bit too much for me. If it was 2 bowls of smaller, cob pipe like this, then that would be just fine. As far as my notes, the tin aroma is really nice. It has leather, wood. It is slightly floral, slightly sweet, and every once in a while you can kind of like get this liquor hint, like a whiskey smell and taste. But it is very subtle, and it's certainly nothing like Frogmorton's Cellar, which is another one of my favorites here. So one of my favorite aspects of this is the room note. It's like walking into a bakery, and it took me a while to put my thumb on it, but what it reminded me of is an almond croissant, which is a lovely smell, and a little bit of orange cinnamon. So almond croissant and orange cinnamon. As soon as I realized, hey, that's what it is, it's almond croissant, I just enjoyed it more and more. I haven't asked others what the room note is like, but to me it's very nice. If I set it down in a room and I let it go out or something and I come back into the room, it's really nice. Again, it's kind of like that bakery smell. There's a little bit of popcorn nuttiness. It burns very fine. It's down to a fine ash. it tends to be fast burning. I tend to go through a bowl pretty quick. My tin is probably a little bit dried out, but it comes in the tin at the perfect moisture. And that goes for all Dunhill blends in my experience. You just stuff it into your bowl as soon as you get it out. You don't need to dry it. Not acrid at all, even though it has Orientals in it, and I'm finding that my palate may be a little bit sensitive to some Orientals or Turkish blends, like in some Balkan blends. A lot of those blends taste acrid to me, like Black House, but this does not taste acrid at all. It's pretty forgiving, no tongue bite. I've never had any tongue bite whatsoever, even close to it. So this supposedly has some small Latakia, imparting a rich nutty flavor and coolness, Macedonia Bright added for sweetness, and then the brown Cavendish completes the blend that all confirmed pipe smokers love. That's the line. It does have Latakia, and I would say it might be Latakia based. Like I might put that in that general category, but it is definitely not Latakia forward. So I wouldn't be worried about this ghosting a pipe, or maybe, maybe a little bit. I would probably still smoke it in my Latakia pipes, but it does not have that overwhelming smokiness that, say, something like Nightcap would have. On my 1 to 10 scale, I gave this an 8. So that's pretty darn good. So, yes, I highly recommend my Mixture 965. There's a lot of praise for it online, and a lot of really good detailed information to learn more about it. So, I have been preparing to go on a backpacking trip in a couple weeks up to the Sierras. I'm looking forward to it. And every time I go, I have this desire, I don't get to do it very often, so I have this desire to try to get out as much as I can from my trip. And part of that is in focusing on where I'm at in my mental space, and to try to for me, going on trips like that is about gaining clarity and some inner peace and feeling more centered. So I try to focus on that, because it's not easy for me to do that in my normal life. I have a busy, demanding job, and it seems like I just have a lot of important things that I'm always thinking about all the time, and I never get to really just wipe the slate clean and clear my head. So, as I've spoken of in my other video or two, smoking a pipe is a really great means to try to get to that meditative state. So, I've been reading some Stoic literature here. So here's Seneca, Letters from a Stoic. And here's what he says on the matter. And this resonated very well with me here. So he says, are you really surprised, as if it were something unprecedented, that so long a tour and such diversity of scene have not enabled you to throw off this melancholy and this feeling of depression? A change of character, not a change of air, is what you need. Here's what Socrates said to someone who was making the same complaint. How can you wonder your travels do you no good when you carry yourself around with you? You are saddled with the very thing that drove you away. How can novelty of surroundings abroad and becoming acquainted with foreign scenes or cities be of any help? all that dashing about turns out to be quite futile. And if you want to know why all this running away cannot help you, the answer is simply this: you are running away in your own company. You have to lay aside the load on your spirit. Until you do that, nowhere will satisfy you. So when I start hiking and backpacking, I'm just, my mind is just filled with all of these disparate random thoughts, and they just come pouring out. And on the trail, as I'm trudging along, I'll often be talking to myself or muttering under my breath, or humming, or whatever. And it's like that process of just getting rid of all of that randomness, and that helps me to sort of wipe the slate clean. So that I can enjoy my own company, as Seneca explains. How can you really gain inner peace if you haven't addressed what's going on inside your mind before you go abroad, before you go travel, before you go out into the world and try to free your body and spirit? So I try to focus on de-stressing and detaching before I embark on a trip, or especially something like a backpacking trip. So I'm thinking about taking a couple of tobaccos with me on the trip. I don't know if I'll take this one because I feel that I understand what it has to offer, and I'd like to try something different. I'm thinking of maybe taking an aromatic. I have a lot of Cornell and Deal blends. This one's pretty nice, and maybe something else like a Virginia or an Oriental. So here's British Woods, which I think is an Oriental. This one does not get a lot of praise on tobaccoreviews.com, but I really like it. So I'd like to spend some more time with that. Another one of my latest favorites, which I will be reviewing, is Magnum Opus. This is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Okay, so that's it. I'll talk to you later.